join me on this marathon of reviews that are re-edited to fit this video to show you my top 5 favorite Mafex figures because I don't have the Magneto one. So anyway, let's get into it. At first glance, this looks like it's probably one of the best out of the wave. It's another just gorgeous comic to figure from Mafex. The face sculpt, look at that. But I think there might be some issues. So let's dig into this thing and see what's going on. Back of the box, you got some awesome figure shots. Look at her. She's got powers that control things with her powers. I'm so stupid. Side of the box, you got just a basic standing pose, and that one's just, hey, I'm shooting some blasts. Let's open it and see what this thing is. She is beautiful. Look at it. Can you see it? I gotta get this plastic off. We'll be right back. I am so all about this thing, and I actually really appreciate the tone, the color difference here in the hair, so it doesn't just match the body. It's not just a basic white color. So the stand that's in the box, you get quite a few good thingies. Whatever. You get this stick thing, which I still don't really know a use case for. You get this piece, which is an alternate claw that can mount onto that pole. I don't know. Feels like we're missing something here. You get at least these parts, which will make a perfect stand, so you can have a flight stand for your storm. So let's look at these accessories. You've got some alternate hands in the box, which these are just kind of, hey, I'm controlling the winds, I'm controlling the rains, the storms. I am Storm. And then you got punchies because it is Storm, and she's gonna do some X-Men stuff because X-Men do punchies. And you get these, which are again kind of, I mean, just great stance hands. That anything that is like, hey, I'm you know, winds, hear me. And some of these, which is what you're gonna plug your power effects into over here. The lightning will plug into these hands, so great to have that. I love it. And these, which are basically the exact same thing without the peg. So if you want one hand or you don't like the effects, you can do that, which is great. Now, on to the effects. You get a left and right of this thing, which is kind of soft, similar to what we've seen with Marvel Legends figures. And this is just like a little base piece that's in there by default, but you take that out, plug it into that hand we looked at, and then you get these, which are molded into the hands. And we've seen something similar to this with, I think, Marvel Legends, but this is a little bit different. So these, they sculpted the hand completely and then placed it inside of this, where the Marvel Legends one gets a little weird. Like it's kind of creepy looking. This looks really, really nice. And these are gloved hands. So this is, I guess, more comic accurate versus cartoon accurate to have gloved hands. Alternate heads, you get this one, which is just stunning. This is like, man, this is something Mondo would do, where it's just an absolutely beautiful representation of a character. Like, this is so freaking good, man. And the hair is perfection. Great sculpt work, great paint work, but man, what a beautiful face. And then you get this one where, hey, you know what? What happens to a toad in a lightning storm or whatever? This is looking so good. Very angry, the brow. I love this. This is such a good looking set. And then you get this one on by default, which again is just a beautiful, beautiful head sculpt. But what's the difference between the two of them? The lips. The lips are the biggest thing. Everything else is pretty much the same. It's just these lips are kind of open a little bit. Anyway, on to the rest of the figure. The sculpt looking good. I mean, it's fine. She's got this kind of suit with the puffy sleeves, which is very kind of 80s looking. I love it. And her shoulder pads are maybe going to be a bit of an issue. I don't know. Doesn't seem like she's going to be one to really articulate like some of the others. Like, she maybe can, but things are gonna stop it from happening. But I like this design. It's really, really nice. I'm wondering though, are these supposed to be like thigh-high boots? And that's why this doesn't match? Because this is like a shiny white, and this is kind of? No, this is like a pearlescent, and then I don't know what's going on here. Thigh-high boots, I guess, over top of a white suit, whatever. But much like Jean Grey that we've seen, which is the first I've done out of the Mafex series, is the long, big chunks of hair are gonna stop the articulation from pretty much happening at all. So it'd be really cool to have an alternate head that just gave her an alternate design, maybe from the Mohawk or something. That would be pretty sweet. Now this is the best hair sculpt, I think, but it would be nice to have alternatives. So she has butterfly joints going on in there, which is great. And then the sleeve rotation, double elted joy bows, double jointed elbows, and then the wrist on a ball hinge, which is always great. And then they hid this cloth connection by these gauntlet pieces, bracelets or whatever, looking real nice. So this is a beautiful Storm, and I've always seen it online. I've seen it in person on shelves before, and this is definitely one of the best ways to go. But my issues with this Storm, because I told you I'd have issues, these little wrist pegs are so stupid. Because you have to put this cloth piece on, you're not getting the depth you need for the wrist joints. And it's so easy to untuck. So that's a bit of a problem. So this is one of those figures that I think are gonna be kind of annoying to pose, which I'm not looking forward to. If you're trying to get all this stuff, like the belt, it's gonna keep popping up, and I'm probably gonna have some poses in here that I forgot to pull it back down. But this is, it's beautiful. It comes with a lot of accessories. I love it, but it's gonna be really, really annoying because you're gonna be super limited, and because the wrists are gonna keep popping off, and then you can't really tuck that back in so easily. Anyway, those are my biggest complaints. But she's great. I mean, it's beautiful. This is a flight stand figure for sure. And if you don't have your Storm on a flight stand, what are you doing? Huh? Explain to me down in the comments what it is, why you would not have your Storm on a flight stand. Hello? So the main question for this whole video is she worth it? And yes, if you can get the Japanese pricing of like $50 to $60 or something. But over $100 is kind of wild, and I don't think it's really worth it. The only one that I really felt was worth $100 was Gambit. So check out that video. Front of the box, you got the comic stuff. Back of the box, you got figure shots. And he's only got a little bit of accessories, which is real sad. So if you're buying from Japanese websites and importing it, you're probably gonna save some money if you can get a hold of this guy. So let's open it up and see if it's any good. Vex, by the way, Vex and Toys sent this guy over along with the other X-Men. Let's get into it. How many times can I say that? All right, look, this is gonna be one of those where it does look super cool on screen, and I'm gonna get some really cool poses because this guy, I'm sure, can pose like the best of them. So it comes with a stand, which is nice. It helps the price for sure, and a few different ways to attach him to it. Stand, go bye-bye. This is what we are left with, folks. Not a lot of stuff in the box. There's no logic to this, especially if he does run more than the others. I mean, Gambit had a bunch of stuff in there. Jean had a bunch of stuff, like all the effects and stuff you get with these figures. Nothing in here to give some kind of slashing effect or whatever. That's it on the hands. He's got punching fists by default. Then he's got a left and right of these, which are just kind of relaxed hands. And then you got his classic claw hands, which is what everybody's gonna keep on there, I'm sure. But you know, for posing and photography and stuff, you wanna have options. So this is like, Mafex, what happened? Let's look at the rest of the stuff in here. So you get an unmasked head, which does look good. Okay, it's got this kind of digital print technique of the eyes and the lips and stuff. So it's nice, it's fine. The edges of the hair, it could be better, for sure. But 1/12 scale figure, it's gonna be good enough. I mean, it looks great with the human eye, so don't worry about me shoving it up the camera hole. And then you get this, which will go on underneath his unmasked head, because of course it's his mask. Then you get this gritting face, which is pretty epic looking. I love that. This is a face you gotta have with a Wolverine. No matter who's making it, you need a good gritting face. We don't have that with Wolverine from X-Men 97 Marvel Legends. Let's look at the main figure here. Just kind of grumpy sourpuss face, which is also pretty classic for Wolverine. Again, the things that I'm not sure about with Wolverine come down to the shiny stuff that I've been unsure of with the rest of the X-Men. The other thing that's really, really awkward is this line for the top. What's happening? What? Just make that all yellow if that's the case, because there's no right, okay, let's try to get this lined up. So if you want the blue to line up, that's the position the arms are in. And as soon as you move those arms, oh God, look at that stance. As soon as you move those arms, it just gets all weird. That is such a strange choice. Whatever, let's just keep going. So he's got hairy arms, relatable, looks really good. I mean, it's no Mad Hatter, but you know, the paintwork is good, okay? I mean, I gotta give it to him for that, because it's even better in person, where on camera it's maybe looking a little bright, but he's got like a wash going on here, so there's shadow tones and things going on to really define the muscles. So that's really nice. I like all of that. The articulation, yeah, it's gonna be great. So do you just not worry about these weird these weird blue things just for the sake of getting really good poses? I mean, I guess. Insane butterfly joints, so he can like really go beyond expectations with his range. As far as articulation goes, is really fantastic. So that's I'm just so defeated, man. I'm so defeated. So look, while the Marvel Legends figure it's not perfect by any means. I mean, you got alternate hands, but it was just the no claw hands, still punchies. And then you got this face. This is the default one for Marvel Legends, which they really did. They kind of dropped the ball on the facial stubble. But this is X-Men 97. So again, looks a little different, but I mean, that's the classic suit. So it works really, really well if you're trying to fill in the line here. But this is just, God, it's the better value for sure. 25 bucks. And they handled the lines better because they controlled where their cuts were, or where the paint was, whatever they did. I don't know. That's the better value. The other thing is, I need to know how he scales compared to this Gambit, because Gambit should be kind of a tall boy. I think he's like, I don't know, I'm gonna guess like 6 feet tall or something. And then Wolverine should be a little shorty boy. So yeah, there is a height difference, which is good. This Wolverine, I don't know. Maybe once I get into the posing stuff, I'll love it. So let me mess around a little bit for a second. I don't know. I mean, if you just, especially if you're somebody that just wants a Wolverine on the shelf, and it's not that big of a deal if he can do a lot of stuff, and you still have to buy the Marvel Legends VHS boxed Wolverine if you want to get the picture frame to do the meme, but he's got the hands for it. I need you to look at me. Like, really, stop what you're doing, washing the dishes or whatever it is, working, and pay attention. Look at me in the face. Look right into my eyes, the eye holes that I've got right here. Look into them, because I'm about to tell you something. This is the best Cyclops I've ever seen. Let's get into it. Well, it's another fabulous day, because why? We've got another Mafex figure thanks to Vex. I think I forgot to thank him in the last video. So down in the comments, say, hey, thanks, Vex. Look at this guy, Cyclops, the old one-eye beam blaster boy, looking real good. I mean, I can tell because there's a big old window in the front of this box. And it's a comic version, as the other Mafex figures we've seen. There's gonna be some shiny stuff here, and it looks like it's all blue, so it's basically his whole body is shiny. Maybe they should have gone shiny yellow? Anyway, let's get into it. Back of the box, you got some great figure shots, and you got alternate heads. Look at that. This is classic Cyclops when he's having good times not fighting people. A little bit of red in there, we'll see. But that's it. Apparently that's the sound that makes when the eyeballs shoot blasts. Side of the box looking up, side of the box looking in a different direction. Let's open it. So here we are with our Cyclops and all these accessories. I love accessories, and I love Optic Blast. They're a little short though, but overall, I think this is looking pretty fantastic. And it comes with a stand, and I go stand for stands. Not the first time I've made that joke. So what you get here is you get a standard little hooky claw thing to grab your little boy with. No, that's not right. And then you get this one, which is kind of like a Build-A-Fig thing, Build-A-Stand. There's a couple ways to go about it. So you can use this thing and then attach it here, and you've got like this kind of alternate claw, or you can put it on this, and now you got the Reach Around 4000, which is a great way to just grip them right in the nasties. And then you get a stand, and then you get this thing, which I never really understand how these are supposed to work. It's just like that. I guess. Whatever. Let's get into the accessories that are in this set. So by default, you get this optic visor. Visor, I guess is what you would call it. Not an optic visor. Yeah, visor. It already implies that it's for your eyeballs, so you don't need optic. It's got a hole in it because you'll plug in these effects so that you can do blasty-doos, which then it looks like that, which is pretty sweet, and it's got a nice solid click. And then you get this, which is, I guess in case you don't want this set up, it's like his casual head can have this. We'll find out. I don't know. And then you get this one, which looks pretty awesome. Honestly, this is great. This is a really nice effect going on. And I'm thinking with my brain that you can take these visors off so you can swap them. So you can have Angry Face Boy and that one. Is that true? Ooh, yeah, look at that. Well, that's not creepy at all. That's what a Cyclops actually should look like. So yes, you can take these visors off and swap them around on the different heads, which is pretty sweet. I like it. And then you get a left and a right of this hand, which is just, no, don't you dare. This is not because he loves Jean Grey. This is because he goes into the battlefield and goes, Zark. According to the box, that's how his sound is. And then you get a left and right of this hand, which is just a nice casual, hey, maybe I can hold something with it, but probably not. And by default, he's got punchy fists because you know Cyclops is gonna knock you right in the nards. The other head in the box is this one, which has got his everyday casual glasses on because he doesn't want to murder people on accident. Only on purpose. What'd they do in the box? Yes, just like on the back of the box. That's it. It's basically like having his hood down. So those are all those pieces. What's the other? Let's take a deeper look at this blast effect. So this is the skinny, kind of straightforward one. Looks pretty cool. I like the kind of gradient of the frosted look. And then this big wide beam, which is pretty sweet. I definitely would enjoy some really large versions of these, like extra long or just bigger overall, like just intense blast, because, you know, it's Cyclops and he does that. Now let's get into the main event. Look at that. Now, the only issue I have with this guy so far is just that it kind of looks like his face is a little dirty because his nose and just underneath his visor is a little bit more of just like a plain white or, well, flesh tone, I guess. Like you're getting this kind of washed effect going on with his lips and his cheeks. So that's the part I like the least. However, if it's gonna go on my shelf, this is the kind of setup I would have anyway. So it's fine. It kind of looks like he's got a grill in. Back to the body of the boy's body, the man, the myth, the legend. Look at it, it's great. I like this a lot. This is such a really beautiful Cyclops. He's got all the articulation you could possibly want and all the detail. And what's nice about this, I think, especially in person, this is more of like a mattified shine to it, which is a bit different from the figures like Wolverine. And maybe that's just because it's a really deep blue, but as the lights are hitting it here for the camera, it's kind of highlights the shininess a little bit more than I think it actually has. Now, his strap, unlike some other brands we've seen, the strap is actually all one piece, but it's not connected to his body, so you can have flex in there, which is really cool. So it doesn't break the sculpt of this thing. And we'll look at the Marvel Legends one and compare it, of course. But they had a good solution as well, but a different approach. And then you got his belt. It's all great. I love this. It's such a beautiful looking figure. He's got articulation for days, folks. I cannot stress it enough. This is like, you know, a lot of imports. This is what you get, okay? You get the best in the biz for articulation. And so that he can do his little rat-tat-da-da-da. He's got toe articulation. Look at that. He's gonna kick you right in the chin. This is fantastic. And he's got quite the booty there. But this is great. Oh my gosh. So what kind of butterflies? He's got, oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is gonna be such a blast. Get it? To pose. He's gonna be a blast to pose because he is he's just such a cool character. And you know, sometimes he gets the short end of the stick as far as like being the cool guy. Let's pop that head off. Let's put the cool one on there. Now that head did pop off like a little too easy. This one has a little bit better grip, which is great because this is the one I would use. And of course Cyclops, because sometimes he doesn't have to touch his visor and sometimes he does because somebody told me he's got some I don't know. some kind of thing going on, but yeah, that's the look you want. That is, hey Cyclops, do your thing, Zark. You know what Mafex needs to do? Finish this line. There's so many great characters we're missing. Beast, Jubilee, Rogue. Come on, these are like requirements. And then I need Mafex to make a big old Sentinel, something that's really in line with these things and comic book looking. looking at our boy Cyclops from the new X-Men 97 wave from Marvel Legends Hasbro. He's got that dumb smirky face with the baby cheeks, and then he's got this shiny visor, which I did not like, and it doesn't match. But whatever, it's the smallest problem I have with this figure, and it's fine. It's a good figure. Now, the way they handled this strap thing was just to have it attached to the body, and then it's just like two separate pieces. You see how that happens? So that's pretty smart. He comes with this hand, he comes with the fists, he comes with a left fist, so you're getting everything you could really want. You get this kind of basic grippy or just cool stance hand, and then one visor shot. Visor for visors. Nothing to do with Jean Grey. And then you get this awesome angry face that, much like the Mafex one, comes with a blast and just plugs into that hole, which is super cool. So $25 versus $100 in the United States. Okay? It's a no-brainer. I think a lot of people are just gonna be like, yeah, Marvel Legends all day. Especially if you want cartoon accurate. This is just, it's great because the new show's out. Great show. Great figures to match the show. However, if you want to spend the extra money, and especially if you're going to buy from a Japanese website, then this is it. This is it. There's no question about it. It comes with a stand, comes with extra stuff. It's incredible. It's beautiful. It poses. The proportions are really, really nice. This is the way to do it, folks. It's a no-brainer, okay? So, like, if you can get this guy for $50 to $60, I know it's double the Marvel Legends, but this is like Gambit, where you buy this guy one time and you're done. You never need to do it again, unless you're, like, obsessed with Cyclops and you want to get, like, an older, like a variant of the costume or something like that. But good God, I love this thing so much. I'm still talking. Hopefully, I got enough poses to cover up me talking so much. Or just tell me to shut up in the comments, and then I'll delete it. That's rude. Anyway, Psylocke from the X-Men. This is another Mafex. This is the final Mafex figure I'm reviewing, I think, as far as X-Men go. Here we go with Psylocke looking at the front of the box. It's got that comic book look, and there you go, just for reference. Hey, that's her from the comics. Can we pinch and zoom? Pinch and zoom? And back of the box, you get all of these figure shots in action, but this is probably my favorite part. Look, all of those goodies. I love accessories, and unlike Wolverine, you're seeing a lot of accessories here, much like the Gambit. Now let's open it, because the good stuff's on the inside. There's a lot of stuff to look at, so let's just jump right into it, dang it. Now, unique with this one is there are actual instructions in the box, which I've not seen with the other figures, so this is, oh boy, when you have instructions, you really gotta put some work in and use your reading part of your brain, which is yucky. Some of the stuff we could figure out. It's like we've seen with some other figures, but you can swap out some parts, and I guess this is, you can actually, okay, all right, well, whoa.
Hey, dude, you know that's a toy.
Technically, it's an adult collectible.
Adult collectible? Well, whatever. It's a toy. Well, look at it.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, grow up, man. It's really weird. And then people are going to say something about jars or whatever that's like, a younger generation doesn't make any sense to you what they mean by that, which I'm pretty sure is just something gross.
Okay, oh, yeah, sorry. All right, we got to talk about the stand. The stand is pretty much what we've seen with most of the Mafex. Sometimes they don't come with the same set of pieces. So you get this standard thing that I don't know what the point is. And then I guess you could put it like this if you want to go straight up with it. Whatever. Sometimes I don't know why they do this. Why is this? What's the problem here? You can remove this piece from this. So go back and in any of those videos, this is what you do. You remove that part, and then you can build your Reach Around 4000 and have a nice crotch grabbing stand, which is cool for those that like to do that. Otherwise, you get your standard twisty arms to do your standard posy flight stand stuff, and she's definitely gonna be one to do that because she's super cool, man. So you get a left and right of this hand, which is just a nice classic hand. You gotta have some relaxed up, or maybe she's using them for other things. I don't know. You got these gripping hands, a left and right, so she can hold the swords that come in the box, which is important. And this one, which is just a good classic Psylocke hand that's gonna hold up parts somewhere. Something somewhere. This, probably. And these punchy doos, because you know it, we've said it before, X-Men do what? X-Men attack. What do you think I was gonna say? Then we've got some effects in the box, which you get a left and right of this, but you notice the blue in there. Look at that. Her hand is pre-molded, which I like. That's a good way to do it. So you get a nice solid lock onto the peg. So you get this little disc thing here, which is going to be a power for something, and then you put it right there onto that peg. Boom, look at that. It's pretty sweet. It looks really good. And you get these, which you kind of see here. It's like an action effect. So you get it going down the arm, because there's the hand on the inside. So you would plug this in and have it going down the arm. Looks awesome, probably like you saw in the box already. So I didn't even need to tell you that, but I did. Okay, let's move on. And you get these, which are things that we saw right from the instruction sheet. So when you pop the handle out, there you go. You just got a handle, which is designed so that you can have this attached in her hand or something or whatever. And then you can just, I don't need to tell you that, how it works. Isn't that my whole point of me being here? And then you get two of these, an actual sword for slicing and dicing, chopping up people and, making them into bloody bits. Then you get this, which is a replacement for her waistband. So you can actually have the swords attached to her instead of this one dangling here. So you would, as we saw from the instructions, you would pop her apart like that, so she's intended to, which is cool. This alternate head, which is attack mode, she's gritting teeth. Look at the details on this thing, this is nice. If you get really, really close into the camera like I'm doing right now, then you can see the kind of printing technique for all those dots. But when you use your normal human eyeballs, it looks great. You don't see those details at all. And then you got some black wash going on in the hair to give it some more depth, which is nice. And then on, by default, this head, which looks really, really good, okay? I'm just gonna say I'm a fan. That's the easiest thing to say. I'm a fan, all right? Without getting too weird about it. I don't want to get weird and say something that's inappropriate because it's oh boy. I'm a fan.
Hey, come on. Dude, he's doing it again. Oh, let's just get back to the video.
Yeah, I know we talked about it earlier, but it's just, I thought it was funny to do that.
This is getting weird.
Yeah, sorry. And she's got these kind of relaxed hands on by default, which of course you need. Now, I gotta point out, these head sculpts are great, but what does it make me want? An Olivia Munn custom 112 sculpt to put on there. Who's making that? I'll Google it. But then you get the rest of the figure here. This is a pretty good design as far as like trying, sometimes when there's not a lot of clothing, it gets hard to make the joints look good, but I think they've done a nice job here. So you still get butterfly joints, which is always a plus. Huge fan of that. You just gotta sometimes line things up because maybe you get these weird shoulders, but it kind of comes with the territory of having no sleeve. A jacket or something to hide that stuff in the folds. However, the articulation could be better. I mean, this is like a little bit more than 90 degrees in the elbow, which is a little unfortunate. So, I don't know, for a character that you would definitely have like super dynamic poses with, that's a little bit unfortunate. And then, of course, with the hair like this, it's gonna cause a lot of limitations for poses because you can't really turn the head that much, like at all. So you would either need a totally different hairstyle, you would need articulation in the hair. Maybe this one will really help, but then she's angry all the time. Whatever. Continuing, she's got head and neck articulation, great diaphragm articulation, the waist and everything, so the rest of the body is great. And the articulation's good. Butt cheeks.
It's just plastic, man.
Come on, dude. I'm just trying to have fun with the video.
Just review the thing.
Just look at it.
Oh.
Right? Am I right? Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that makes things a little more difficult because, wowzers.
All right. So we can agree. It's juicy.
Yeah. Well, I gotta go. I can't. This is.
Yeah. Yep. Moving on. We've got double jointed knees, which is good. Ball joints on the feet. and toe articulation, which I'm a big fan of. Okay, and apparently Dan Larson is not a fan of toe articulation. The worst thing about the sculpt is this, but I don't know what else you're gonna do. I mean, you have to. If you want a good, you deal with it, okay? Deal with it, okay? So I think if there's awesome poses that you're familiar with her from the... If there's awesome poses from the comics that you would like to get her into, you could definitely do that, okay? I think this is gonna be a great one to articulate and mess around with and have a good time. No. So the waistband thing, did we talk about that a little bit? Let's pop that off, get rid of that, put this on there, and now you have maybe one of the most uncomfortable ways to carry swords. But it looks cool in a comic book. This is such a cool figure. I'm telling you right now, this is one of the top ones in the line. Why? Because there's so many cool things happening here. Not only is it posed honestly really well, but you also get all of these accessories which make for an incredible figure. I mean, good God, show me a Hasbro that comes with this many accessories. And especially a Psylocke in this costume, which also would be probably not as accurate. Look, if you want a comic accurate Psylocke, this is the one. There's no other place to look except for right here. So stay with me. Look at that. I love this. This is so, so good. It's classic of the character. You're getting the look. You just need the Olivia Munn of it. All of these effects really make for such a great, fun way to mess around with a figure. I am so happy to have this and so happy to have Gambit. But that's it. Yes. Is it worth it? Yes. I'm going to say yes. For sure. I think I made that pretty clear probably throughout the entire thing. There's just some really good assets. What kind of channel has this become? Join me today as I show you one of the best versions of Gambit that we have ever had. Currently still have. Let's get into it. Here's the front of the box looking good. Soft goods. Hey, love me some soft goods. Sometimes they don't work on a 1/12 scale. We'll find out if they do today. And the sides and stuff. Yep. Whatever. We're not here for the box, but those are some pretty cool action shots. I like that one. Maybe I'll remember to use it in the posing segment. But you get all kinds of accessories and accessories for the staff. What? How's that possible? Well, we have a lot of stuff to check out, so let's just jump in, and then of course we'll compare it to this Gambit that is basic. Where do we start? There's so much. Let's just start with the base, the stand. It's kind of something similar to what we saw with, what's-her-face, Jean, the one I did prior to this, that video. So you get this arm, you get a claw to go on there, and then the nice thing here is you actually have a couple options to help hold his power effects, which is great, because sometimes big things like this are very, very heavy, and the arm will just drop down, right? So you get a couple things that will plug into this straight pull and into the tiny little base that is included. So you got options, and I love options, folks. Y'all know that. Speaking of options, we got plenty of hand options. So let's start here. He's got these gripping hands, which he's gonna use obviously for that staff he's got to do some attack moves with. He's got these hands, which are just good old-fashioned Gambit hands, kind of card holding hands. So these fingers here on the left are curved, fingers on the right are straight. You got these hands, which are just kind of relaxed hands, so they're the same on the left and right. And these, which are like, hey, I'm throwing stuff here. He's almost like a stereotype of Brooklyn accents or whatever. Hey, I'm throwing stuff here. I'm Gambit, remember my name. These hands, which are going to be used specifically for effects, as you see these clear sticky doos. And he's got this big old staff, which does match his costume, which is great. So you get the little details there. They're all lined up. You get this alternate head, which looks awesome. The details here are really good. I actually like this much more than the Jean Grey. This is so fantastic. And they actually did stubble really well. And that's something that I feel like, to compare, Hasbro is fine. I guess it's fine. It's better on him than it is on Wolverine. And this is the cartoon versus the comic, but that looks really good. What else? We've got these cards that are all charged up with this kind of flame looking effect, more than what I would expect out of his power, but I guess it's more comic accurate. And then you get this one, which is he's like probably still holding the card in his hand, but you know, it creates some motion, which is really cool. And then you get these effects, which this is like a larger flame piece, and you get this smaller one here, and these will go onto his staff. Then you get this 3-card effect, which actually looks really awesome. Now, the only thing that's happening here, and maybe this is just because it's charged up and the energy is there and the white, I feel like having a pattern of a card on those would really amp that up and look really, really cool. But whatever, that's fine. And then you get this one, which 3 cards again, but look at the effect going on here. It's so well sculpted, and I love this kind of translucent effect. This is beautiful. Heavy enough that you'll definitely need to use those stand pieces. Now, on to Gambit, the figure as it is in the box. He's got these punching fists on by default, which is always good because, you know, again, X-Men do punchies. Put that on a shirt, X-Men do punchies. And then you get this head sculpt, which again, like the other one, looks fantastic. It's very, very well done. I really, really like the paintwork here on the eyes and the facial hair. And just for a comparison, so you get the gritting teeth and then it's this kind of stern look. The details of the body here looking really, really nice. Let's take this jacket off. This is great when they are ball pigs. Ball pigs? Ball sockets, whatever, because you can get the wrist to be a vertical or horizontal hinge. So I'm always thankful for that. But look at him without his jacket. This is fantastic. So the details are all there, all the way down through the arms, the sleeves, the shoulders. This is very, very well done. I'm not totally sure how I feel about the shiny stuff, but it works better on him, I think, than it does on Jean Grey for some reason. Maybe it's because of the metal parts, but yeah, I think just a flat look would also be a really nice setup. But this is a beautiful figure. And of course, like we saw with Jean Grey, the articulation is probably going to be really, really good, but even better on him because he doesn't have a big, long set of head. He doesn't have a long head of hair that's going to cause some concerns there. So looking down is perfection. Looking up is great. Not only the head, but the neck also has articulation. And then he's got butterfly joints for the shoulders, which is really, really, really nice. So he can actually cross his arms, which is really rare to see. And the wide spread going back. So if he's charging in for an attack or something, or falling down because he was just in the Blackbird. Look at this. This is so good. This is like, man, a posing dream. This is one of those things where, like, when you're on Instagram and then you just have some dude holding figures in a pose. It's like, man, why do hand photos get more likes than well-established shots? Anyway, I'm not bitter, along with all the other photographers. The articulation is really just exactly what you would want for a character that is from a comic book. I mean, good God, pulling poses from the page or something, this guy is really gonna do it. You got double jointed knees, you got toe articulation, it's perfection. And to make it even better, his jacket has a wire in it, so you can actually not only control the shape of the jacket all the way down and through the back, there's a wire going all the way through the back. You can do the collar as well. So if you wanted to have some action motion or something going on with the collar, you can do that. So the wire is everywhere. This is so good. And I've said it way before I ever touched this guy that that's a Mad Hatter quote. I have said it way before I've ever seen this figure in real life. This is the best Gambit that you could ever buy. It's so good. I mean, this is like the definitive version of a Gambit, and I am so in love with it and kind of upset because all of these Mafex X-Men that I'm going to be reviewing come from Vexen Toys. Go check out his channel. So I have to send these things away when I'm done. I should have just committed when they came back out and they were re-released. So when I'm done with this review, that means I'm going to go online and I'm going to look and find if this thing is available anywhere, and I'm going to buy it. Look at this beautiful figure, man. I mean, this is just, there's so much good stuff here. And if you like to pose your figures on the shelf in dynamic poses, this is a no-brainer. I'm already getting looks out of this guy that I could never, ever in a million years get out of this thing. Why? I mean, probably 70% of the reason is this jacket, because it's plastic. The look of the head is great because it's very much the cartoon, so I do appreciate the head sculpt and the tech that Marvel Legends has for this. I mean, come on, you can see through his jacket, it's plastic. This is such a basic figure for 25 bucks, and you only get like a couple effects. It's so simple, which now you probably can't even get him because of the releases are done. but that's generally an easier to get figure. It's more reasonably priced. However, this is perfection. This is you buy this one time Gambit and you never need to buy a Gambit again unless you go with Mondo because you want the big boys. If you want cartoon, it's always Mondo, okay? I'm just saying it. But if you want comic book or you need an alternative to the show, this is just exactly the right thing to buy. How many times can I say it? What else is there to say? But as you can see, the weight of this thing, it does drop down, so you will need to use that little stand if you got this effect on there, but my God, it's just gorgeous. This is just a probably 10-minute review of me talking about how beautiful the figure is. Gimme one. So what are you doing, Mafex Medicom Toys? Get that Rogue going, and a Jubilee, and a Beast, and everybody else. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this review, then click the top link and watch another review, because you might enjoy that one. I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.